What's up guys, my name is Max and I just bought this 2012 WRX. The owner blew up the motor at 60,000 miles, broke the front and rear windshield, painted all the plastics, and then let this car sit for 10 years. I knew this car would be a ton of work, but I've always wanted to own a WRX, so I went ahead and bought it. The first step was to clean the interior, because who knows how much mold or what lives inside the car now that it's been sitting for 10 years. The exterior is also looking pretty rough due to the sun beating on it for 10 years. The whole car has a good amount of sun fade. We're going to get to the hard part, which is pulling the motor, building a new one, and putting it back inside the car. Went ahead and started unplugging everything that I needed to take off to take the motor out of the car. I then drained the oil, which was just full of coolant. I mean, it was barely even oil. I then took out the downpipe and disconnected the exhaust from the car. Also got pretty frustrated along the way. We got to the actual step of pulling the motor, and that was its own thing. Since we didn't have a cherry picker, we had to improvise with a body lift thing. I just put some straps in a pipe, and that was pretty sketch, but it did end up working out. So after taking the motor out, we can now start stripping everything down to the bare block. So I got the turbo disconnected, then I got most of the water line at the intake disconnected, and then I started taking off the covers to get the heads off, and I just made sure everything was clean, everything was organized so that I didn't lose anything. So after getting the heads off, we can see what the issue was. So those two cylinders were fine, and then we get to the other side, and yeah, that's a lot of fun. So it cracked the block. Basically cracked all the cylinders, bent the rod, broke the block, and a lot of stuff was damaged. So that's why we bought a brand new block. Woo! And then we took it apart and started assembling the bearings. So that was its own thing. I mean, I was able to measure all the bearings, make sure the clearance was good. There's the crankshaft, and I put it all together myself. But then I got it on a stand, and there you go. I put all the rods in. I searched up a YouTube video on how to put the actual rods in and the cylinders in, and how to, like, the torque specs for it. Here's my cat. He was having fun with me, just chilling. Here's a little time lapse of me just assembling the motor and putting everything in. So the thing that sucks with these Subarus is that the block is actually two pieces and the bearings are in between those two pieces. So to change the bearings for this car, you have to take apart the whole entire block, which sucks. Actually, I got all the piston rings in and the pistons, and here's just some shots of the motor before putting everything in. Everything moved super smoothly, nothing was super stiff. Clearance wasn't amazing, but it wasn't horrible. It was actually pretty smooth. I know I've seen on some motors where they just hold the ratchet and it falls. It wasn't like that, but it was still smooth. Here are the heads that I put on. I dipped all the bolts in oil and then tightened them to the correct specs. Then we got all the timing in and the timing belts in and the intake and all that. Here's the car that was sitting. Sat in the backyard for a month, but I just thought I thought the car looked pretty cool on the trailer, so I just took a little video. But basically didn't have a motor, so that's why we got to trailer the car. These motors are very annoying to get in if you don't get the right angle, and they even have the right cherry pickers, so getting that motor was a pain in the butt. Here's the cat. This is my boy Fred. He was just chilling. This is me showing my dad that I bled the clutch and that the clutch works. And then this is the first time the car had power in like years. And then I ran into some problems. That's the injector spewing fuel everywhere because it's not seated correctly or it doesn't have the ring. So I started taking it all apart, took it all apart, put the right one in. As you can see, I'm connecting the ground or the power to the fuel injectors, and it works just fine now, which is good to hear. But it was a pain in the butt to get to. Me cranking the car for oil pressure, and the car would get stuck, which I got really scared. I was like, what the heck just happened? Is it locked up? Blah, blah, blah. And the car ran for a little and then started making some funky noises that I didn't like, and that was just really sad. So I ended up pulling the motor again, just to figure out what was wrong, because this was a fresh block, fresh motor. We shouldn't have any issues with the block because it was so fresh. Finding a little piece of metal in the cylinder, which thankfully didn't do enough damage because I cranked the car like maybe once or twice, basically barely turned over, and then it got stuck, which is great to hear. So I pulled it out, and this is the first time it running for, I don't know, for a while. So the MAF air source sensor was being weird, don't really know why. And then I found that one of the intake hoses was disconnected in the back, but here is it running for the first time since like forever. Then put on the belts, and that was a pain in the butt, but I got them on, which is great. A couple more things to button up, like the interior, as you can see in this video. But other than that, it's all good to go. The smog is good to go. I give it a good wash, and I buffed a lot of the outside of the car, and so the paint looks good. So here's a video of the paint, me driving, and just yeah. Okay, that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. Honestly, I've never really been like addicted to a car until I drove this one. Like, it's honestly really fun to drive. Like, it takes turns very well. Like, the all-wheel drive system is very good. And it's just all in all a great car to drive. So thank you for watching. I'll probably post some more videos of it before I end up selling it. But that's about it. Thank you guys for watching.